Hey, Carole. It's a voice from your past.
Unless you've been hiding in a septic tank, you've watched the Tiger King documentary on Netflix, and you can't stop thinking about it. One doesn't simply watch Tiger King. You breathe Tiger King. You become Tiger King. It takes over your whole life. Officially titled Tiger King: Murder, Mayhem, and Madness, the 2020 documentary series is the craziest thing since Fyre Festival. But if you can believe it, there's a lot of craziness that wasn't included in the 7 episodes. I've got a list of 9 true facts that didn't make the documentary. Before I get started, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications.
Where does your TV show air?
On the internet, worldwide.
Tell them that the tiger needs a little bit of love.
I gotta start this off by saying there's no way that voice came out of that human, right? Author and podcaster Robert Moore says that a group called the Clinton Johnson Band is actually responsible for the tracks, with Exotic singing quietly over them. But speaking with the Los Angeles Times, co-director Rebecca Chaiklin said the doc's fact-checker told her that he apparently does sing some of the time. Either way, the music is definitely not 100% Joe Exotic. One of the brief updates we get in text form at the end of Tiger King is that Living Garbage with a God Complex, also known as Bhagavan Doc Antle, got a visit from the police at the end of last year. According to the documentary series, Myrtle Beach Safari was raided in December 2019, though it's not mentioned exactly why the raid happened. But if this news makes you think that Doc Antle's park is now out of commission, you are wrong. According to Variety, not only has Myrtle Beach Safari remained open in the months since the raid, but it's even active during the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. After all, he is complete trash. After watching Tiger King, a lot of people were fascinated by the fact that Joe Exotic, an openly gay man, managed to get 2 men who identified themselves as straight to marry him. But that's only 2/3 of the story. It's not mentioned in the documentary, but the animal hoarder had a 3rd husband who apparently also identified as straight. Before John Finley and after his first husband Brian Ryan, who passed in 1991, Exotic was briefly married to a man named J.C. Hartpence, according to New York Magazine. Not much is known about Hartpence, but he's currently serving time in prison for a murder he committed after he and the Tiger King divorced. This dude knows how to pick 'em. Toward the end of Tiger King, Jeff Lowe is shown trying to get plans together to start up a whole new park in Thackerville, Oklahoma. But the documentary ends before the plot thread is resolved. This is probably in part due to the fact that the location still hasn't opened, but one strange thing to know about the development is that the park is evidently looking to get a bit of help from an NBA legend. Documentarian Eric Good recently told the Los Angeles Times that Jeff Lowe is reaching out to Hall of Fame center Shaquille O'Neal as a potential investor. The status of those conversations is unknown, but I have to wonder how they may be impacted by the release of the Netflix series. Shaq's a pretty smart guy. It's doubtful he'll get wrapped up in that nonsense.
Hey all you cool cats and kittens, it's Carole from Big Cat Rescue.
One of the lingering mysteries we've all latched onto in the Tiger King is the strange case of Carole Baskin's first husband, Don Lewis, who disappeared in August 1997, 2 months after filing a restraining order against his wife. A little suspicious. As shown in the documentary, Baskin eventually remarried, getting together with current husband Howard Baskin, but Robert Moore has revealed details of another relationship she had with a man named Jay Bacow. Similar to Lewis, he also wound up filing a restraining order against Baskin, and in the report said that he was fearful for his life, highlighting 2 conversations that led him to believe that his girlfriend did in fact kill her former husband. Keeping in mind, of course, that this is the woman who apparently has the moral high ground amongst this wild group of big cat degenerates. I mean, enthusiasts. In March of 2015, a fire broke out at Joe Exotic's zoo, burning down the on-site production studio and destroying hours and hours of footage that was being assembled to create a reality series. Sadly, some crocodiles were also lost in the inferno.
Boiling alive.
Yes, we're all losing sleep wondering how great that reality footage would have been, but what really takes things up a notch in terms of crazy is a story shared by Robert Moore. While doing research for his podcast, Moore reached out to the police officer in charge of the case, and the next day got an angry call from Joe Exotic. So how did Joe Exotic know about the call that Moore made to the police officer? Well, according to the author and podcaster, the police officer was employed as the zoo owner's limo driver. That sounds like a corrupt little conflict of interest there. It may surprise you to learn that director Eric Good is very much an animal person himself. Specifically, the filmmaker is classified as a herpetophile, which is to say a person obsessed with reptiles, and was actually profiled in The New Yorker back in 2012 for his work trying to preserve a rare tortoise. Speaking with the Los Angeles Times, he admits that he has a fascination with people who keep animals, which for sure sure inspired his work on the Netflix documentary. It might not come as a surprise, but Carole Baskin is far from happy about how she is represented in the documentary and feels that she was misled about the series content. Via posts on bigcatrescue.org, Baskin says that she was led to believe that she was participating in the Big Cat version of Blackfish, has refuted a selection of statements made, and has attacked those who accuse her of murdering her former husband, Don Lewis. The directors, of course, refute those claims in the Los Angeles Times interview, saying that the documentary evolved as the story continued to unfold, and that Baskin wasn't coerced into talking about her personal life and backstory on camera. On the other end of the spectrum, Joe Exotic is loving it. The documentary doesn't exactly paint the guy as a model citizen.
That's how we take care of ISIS right there, buddy.
But apparently he's just appreciative of the attention. Per Eric Good, he is absolutely ecstatic about the idea of being famous and has taken on a new cause by being an advocate for criminal justice reform. Say what you want about the dude, but at least he's the only crazy tiger person who's somewhat self-aware and not complaining about being misrepresented. Could all of the dangling threads left by the end of Tiger King potentially result in a second season, a la Making a Murderer? We'll have to wait and see, but for now, stay tuned here by clicking that subscribe button and turning on your notifications. That way you won't miss any updates in the world of Joe Exotic. I saw a tiger, now I understand.